So this area here under the cork oak, I'm planning it for raising some pigs. I have some experience with pigs the last 8 or so years, and I think they're wonderful animals. Great to keep at the farm. They're the ultimate recycler. You can pretty much raise pigs on seasonal surplus plus slop, kitchen slop, daily kitchen slop, with a little bit of grain, corn, if there is some. That's enough. I mean, the corn, as far as I'm concerned, is for the chickens. It's for the birds. But pigs will get pretty fat on corn, and pig needs to have a little bit of fat. I've experimented without the grain, and it didn't turn out very good. Bacon was not good. I couldn't do much with it, let's just say. It didn't go to waste, but it's not the same. Yeah, and pigs are also traditionally in this part of the world, Portugal, Spain, Italy, they are historically, every family raised a pig. And when I was a little kid here in the village, I remember vividly how the killing of the pig was a real event. Families would bring in their extended family, neighbors, friends, and everybody would participate in basically processing the animal, processing the carcass once it was slaughtered, and it was a real feast. It was I remember this vividly, and it was communal, very participatory, um, and the animal, the meat from this animal would last, almost until the next season when the next pig would be slaughtered, and the same thing would be done over and over again. So hence the charcuterie from Spain, from Italy, and so on, and from this country as well. Yeah, it's definitely a huge resource, the pig at the farm. Imagine not putting grease down the drain when you're washing dishes. Slop, big component of slop is the fats, the cooking fats that normally go down the drain when we wash dishes, right? You can hot rinse the plates, the pots, the pans, and into a bucket with all the kitchen waste, like peels and that sort of thing, and it's wonderful for the animal. That's a real diet, real good diet for a pig. Pig that eats kind of like we do, right? Is the pig that I think whose meat I would prefer to consume instead of whatever else happens in industrial farming nowadays. So this time around, I'm going to experiment with potbelly pigs, like the Vietnamese potbelly pigs, because I realize they don't dig. And one thing with pigs is when you have them on the loose, kind of in a good area where they have a little bit of grazing and vegetation, in no time they turn the whole thing into moonscape. And the potbelly pigs don't dig, and I see them a couple of places around here where I see them roaming in the vineyards and in people's backyards, and nothing is dug up. So I'm pretty excited about that. Some people say the meat is not good, that they're very fat, but I don't think so. I'm going to experiment. I think the fat is from the diet. It's not from the breed, the DNA of the breed. It's a diet. You give the pig a lot of carbs, just like people, and they'll get fat. You don't give them carbs, and they don't get fat. So I think it's possible to control the amount of fat in the animal with an appropriate diet. So yeah, I'm gonna experiment with them, and I like the idea that they don't dig, and this space here can stay green, and vegetation can continue growing, and they can graze. Yeah, and the cork oak should produce. She's pretty big, so it should produce a healthy quantity of a sweet acorn, which is really good for pigs, for for the flavor of the meat. You know, some people may not know, but very famous pork from Spain, um, uh, prosciutto from Spain, the jamón de bellota, which is meat that comes from pigs that roam the uh, the cork oak meadows, and live a good percentage of their life eating this acorn. It's pretty special stuff. Yeah, I'm being careful to leave these oak seedlings. They're not cork oak, but they're Portuguese oak. They also produce acorn, not as sweet as the acorn from the cork oak, but it's good acorn nonetheless for pigs. So I'm being careful to leave them behind, and once I have pigs, I'm going to protect them because they're young and the pigs can damage them. But I'm hoping to populate this area here. It's kind of a hill, and there's a big rock there. I remember from being a child, there's a huge rock there, kind of a pit, which will probably be really good for their summer, for having like a pit with water for them to cool off. Pigs really need water to cool off because they don't sweat. Um, and yeah, it's really a great spot for that. And I'm hoping that this whole patch will be kind of forested with oaks. Um, yeah, so they are growing here. They're sprouting over the years. They've been cut. There's a huge stump here, clearly, or another one there. You know, good size, but had been cut. But they're shooting back up, and so I'm leaving the good ones behind, and that's the plan. Right now, the ferns are pretty easy to, mostly the ferns, and some brambles. Still very tender, not woody, and scythe does a pretty good job. Tell you, I've been using that weed whacker for the last few weeks, and boy, I don't like that tool. It just kills me. Between the exhaust, the noise, its weight, it's just too much. I should have gotten the scythe longer ago. Much better exercise too. Just kind of going slow because I'm clearly using some muscles here that haven't been really used this way, so don't want to injure myself. I do a little bit every day just to sort of get those muscles and my back sort of into that, into comfort with those movements, and yeah, it's find it very liberating to not have to go to the gas station and buy jerry cans of gasoline and mixing the two-stroke oil in and all that fun stuff. And all that ivy that I have to remove from the walls of the house, and it's not that much fun. I've noticed a lot of people don't seem to like it very much, but here in this wall, I think ivy is my best friend because this ugly cinder block wall is being just this year. This is from, when was it that we did this? In like January, late January or early February, and this ivy is already it's starting to cover the new block. So I'm hoping it does the whole wall, so I don't have to see this ugliness anymore. And I much rather see this beautiful green wall. And yeah, it's here. It belongs here. It's my best friend here. I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun watching it grow. It's going to go over to the other side and stuff. I guess imagine maybe even populate the wire and create a privacy hedge on its own. I'm willing to let it go. Yeah, I'm up there by the house. I already started planting a live hedge, like a privacy hedge in bay laurel, because laurel's it's an evergreen. It's always green. And it seems to grow pretty good and pretty straight. I've seen some places where they get up to like, I don't know, 20 meters. I've seen some 20-meter tall. Not that I want a 20-meter tall hedge, of course, but because I'm kind of lower below the neighbor is a little bit higher. I feel like, if I'm in my backyard doing whatever, somebody can easily be, looking up from above, and I have no privacy that way. So it's kind of like downside of being so close to the road and so close to the one neighbor. But I feel like my laurel hedge will do the trick. And down here, well, I'll let the ivy do the thing.
Yeah, so next week we're going to backfill along the road. We finished the waterproofing, and it's very important to get that filled back up. So we're gonna take on that right away. Machine is coming. Hopefully the weather permits. Looks like it's gonna be a little on and off, kind of like today. Cooler and dark clouds coming down once in a while and that kind of thing. But if the weather permits, we should be able to backfill. And we also are planning to pour the tank, the irrigation tank base pad, because the stone, it's got a stone base made out of several stones, like 10 centimeters stone, big thick stones, big slabs of granite, and the bottom of the stones has to be very, very level. So we're building a reinforced concrete pad on top of that layer of stones we put down. So we want to leave the pad ready for the stone arrives. We don't know for sure when it's being cut and prepared. So yeah, that's next week. We also gonna do, I'm hoping to have the lower field plowed in preparation for sowing the corn in a couple of weeks. Yeah, things are moving along pretty good. João has finished the wall along the road. He's been at it for 2 weeks and 1 day, but he's only by himself. He's building a double-face wall, and yeah, it's quite nice. It needs to be pointed now, but we're gonna wait until the house stones get pointed, we'll point it together in the same color of mortar, which is kind of like a ochre kinda. It's sort of imitates the original clay mortar. We're not using clay mortar as much as you would think it would be a beautiful thing, but no, we're not doing clay mortar. I wouldn't even know where to find the clay, but there's a whole, it's against the rules, let's just say that. There's a code now. And so, yeah, we're gonna do that afterwards. Yeah, João probably gonna start working on some of the walls soon. It's pretty exciting I still have to remove the rest of that ivy. Like, there's a lot of ivy. I set it out to have it out of the walls next week. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, things are moving along pretty good. Having the 3 guys with me, it's great. It's things move along pretty, lots of progress, So we'll see how the weather helps us, and we'll go from there.